Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
There's a lot of people that are against the lockdowns. There's a lot of business owners that are actually against the lockdowns, but they're too afraid to come out and actually speak their mind, because the other half of our community right now is pretty much actively trying to smear everybody that's part of the Freedom Rally. You know, there's nobody coming together right now. There's a really strong divide in our community.
Here in St. Thomas at yet another Freedom Rally, and it appears the mainstream media is finally recognizing that these events are happening. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini, and let me just point out that it was only after months of those in attendance at these rallies were denouncing the played-down mainstream media reporting that the various state broadcasters have now chosen to take a completely vilified angle as to what happens at these rallies and boast some inherent public health risk at an outdoor gathering when there is zero data or evidence of outdoor viral transmission. In fact, the CDC and the World Health Organization both define close contact as that which occurs in closed-air environments. This article from several months ago in The Wig clearly notes Kingston's top epidemiologist. He confirms the same, stating that transmission happens in confined, closed indoor environments, and not just a few minutes of interaction, but hours, in a heavily contaminated space. So Global News put out a sensationalist piece with the mayor of St. Thomas saying that they don't want protesters here. Well, the police will allegedly do the best they can to fine people for exercising their constitutional right to freedom of peaceful assembly. Well, I'm here bringing you on-the-scene coverage, and we'll get to some public opinion, catch up with a few speakers, and see how the day unfolds.
With glowing hearts! Yes. That's what you see here, with glowing hearts. We see the rise, the true north, strong and free.
All right, so you have your InfoWars shirt on underneath. We're just winding down here in St. Thomas. How did you think the day went?
I thought it went actually really well, considering our community's pretty divided on the whole topic right now. So there's a lot of people that are against the lockdowns. There's a lot of business owners that are actually against the lockdowns, but they're too afraid to come out and actually speak their mind, because the other half of our community right now is pretty much actively trying to smear everybody that's part of the Freedom Rally. You know, there's nobody coming together right now. There's a really strong divide in our community. So, like, that being said, I think that we did have a really good turnout. It was really peaceful. It was for people that are like-minded, that feel the same way we do. It was a really good experience to come down and just feel the energy.
Are you happy with the turnout here today?
Yes, it's awesome turnout. It's so great to be here and such a great day, and just more freedom fighters. Come on out. Great day.
Yeah, what's the message that you have today? I mean, has it changed at all over the course of the last few months?
No, it's just more imperative now. Let's get here, folks, because things are going too fast downhill. We need to stop it. Stop the snowball, and let's get going in the right direction.
No, freedom is essential. Nothing has changed. I continued living my life the way I lived it even when all this started.
No, it's freedom, corrupt politicians. That's what it is.
What's your message to Doug Ford other than he's a lying coward?
Doug Ford, smarten up. Instead of sitting in your house, go out and do something about it. And maybe look back at what you were saying when you were running for the people. What happened to that, Doug? You lying coward.
And what about these people? Right, Doug?
That's right. These people are important. We are the Canadians. People he should be looking out for.
I'd like to see more politicians stand up for Canadians and stop standing up for themselves and standing up for the corrupt mainstream media. That's what we need to do. We need some politicians with some guts that are going to stand up to the establishment. Unfortunately, all of our politicians are establishment politicians, and all they care about is themselves. I guarantee, while everybody's losing their jobs and their wages and everything else, these politicians will be giving themselves a raise.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Only free people can say that. We to remain free must
So I see you have a sleeping babe on your back and one on the side here.
Yes.
What's your main message here today at the St. Thomas and Cenotaph and the park?
Geez, one main message is to stop living in fear. I think we need to move away from this whole fear of germs, from viruses, from illness, from disease, and we need to find more empowerment. We need to take back our power. We need to feel we need to have more sovereignty for our health, and I think we need to shift into what health actually looks like.
Well, the main point is that a lot of people are losing their livelihoods and their jobs and their businesses. About 200,000 people, plus have lost everything, right? And I think this lockdown is doing more harm than good. So we need to end these lockdowns. We got to get Canadians back to work. We need to rebuild our economy, and we need to, to fix all the issues that were caused initially from the government. The government didn't do anything. They waited. They sat on their hands until March. They didn't close the airports. They didn't do anything. They told us everything was all right, and then all of a sudden in March, bang.
We have a reason to be out here right now, and we believe that, we're standing up for the rights and the future of our children, and you don't have to support us, but you don't have to fight us either. If you don't agree with us, just stay home. We have just as much right to be out here too, and I really do think that in a short amount of time here, more of those people are going to see what we're trying to say, and they're going to join us. Yep.
Do you have a message for the rabid maskers we saw here today that think that you're putting everyone's lives at risk by just gathering in an outdoor setting?
I want to know when it ends for them. So what's next? So what's the end game for them? I would rather feel empowered in my own body, knowing my own risks and take on my own responsibility than place it in someone else's hands. So I just want to, what's the end game?
I got a sign here I brought it says freedom over life. And the reason I did that was because I noticed a lot of the people criticizing us for coming to these things, they say, oh, we're endangering ourselves, we're endangering other people. And I mean, I don't deny that there is some risk in coming out here, but I just think it's not nearly as much as they've exaggerated it to be. But, even if the risk was significant, the fact is, freedom is worth it. Freedom is worth risking everything, even your own life if you have to. You think back to World War I up until now, and millions of courageous and brave men and women have fought, suffered, sacrificed, and died to guarantee and ensure our freedoms. Why would they do that? I think it's because they recognize something this generation's forgotten, and that is that freedom is more important, even more important than life, because what is life without freedom?
And luckily, we all came here to this location and protested very well, but in the States, similar things have happened where instead they went to the houses of these elected officials, which I'm very glad we didn't, by the way. I wouldn't have supported that. And so I think really one of the reasons I came out is that we really need to show that this is how good these protesters are, that we went and we did it in the most acceptable way possible. We did what was right. We didn't do what was convenient. We did it the right way.
God is on my side, as I shall not be afraid.
All right, I found a rebel in the wild here. He's sporting a mask exemption button. And show us your hat. Very nice. Do you have a few words for the Rebel viewers?
No, thanks. No.
Anything you want to say about Rebel News?
I've been a long time fan and supporter. Keep up the great work, guys.
What are your main concerns for your children growing up in the world that we're seeing over the last, 8-9 months now?
Oh, it definitely is the fear that's happening in the community. I've seen it happen with other children where if a child goes up to someone to play and that child screams at them, there's this fear being installed in them that they can't, hug their grandma, or that they can't play with each other, or if they touch this, it's going to be germs. It's just, there's so much fear being created within our children that I think it's leading to trauma for a lot of them.
But if you look at China and Wuhan right now, apparently it's over there. I mean, I saw them on Halloween. There was tens of thousands of people out there, maskless,
Well, and there's lots of people in Europe blowing the whistle that they're actual normal. It's not a new normal. There's no restrictions. It's just normal.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, and I think it's ridiculous. I think we need to really end all this nonsense, and people need to take personal responsibility if they're worried about their health and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not against masks if you want to wear a mask or if you want to, do all this stuff. That's great if it makes you feel better, but I'm also against the government telling Canadians what they should wear and how they should dress, how they should think, how they should feel.
I imagine that some of these protests there's going to be a lot more people getting on board with these protests in the next little while, because everything that all these protesters are warning us about now is going to come out into the mainstream media here really soon, and it's going to be undeniable that the lockdown measures are not ever going to go away unless we say no to them, unless we say no to the masks, unless we demand that we have the right to our own bodily sovereignty. Like, there's going to be more and more people that are going to come up and just start protesting these lockdowns. So
We keep going, getting bigger numbers, more and more, and hopefully we can actually get something out of this. If we don't stand up, well, then we're screwed anyway, so. Yeah, we just have to stand up for ourselves.
I think that's what we're kind of looking at now, is just trying to how to empower each other, how to create, like, what does health actually look like? How can we do that? And reaching out and knowing that, it comes from us. Like, that's nutrition, that's exercise, that's movement, that's mindset, that's community and coming together. So next Sunday in London, we're having a rally on the 22nd, and we're trying to bring together community and how to support each other. Project Phoenix is going to be there collecting items for homeless people, clothing, foods. We're doing a whole, canned food drive. And I think it's just coming together again, remembering that, love your neighbor, love your community, and come back in kindness and compassion, I think is how we need to move forward.
What do you say to the St. Thomas mayor who urged some businesses to close today in detest of this gathering?
Well, just more propaganda from mainstream media. There's nothing to be afraid of here, folks. Just don't listen to them, mainstream media. That's my point on that.
Are you going to keep coming out as the weather gets colder?
Oh yeah, I'm just planning a different wardrobe, that's all. Something warmer.
Well, the day is winding down here in St. Thomas. I think there may be a few stragglers left over at the rally location. Overall, it was a great day. I would say a few hundred people gathered here today to celebrate the speakers and celebrate their freedom. I found it really strange. As a pregnant woman, I need to use the bathroom sometimes. And as it turns out, here in St. Thomas, all of the local Tim Hortons have decided to close their doors in defiance of the protest happening here today. So you are unable to physically go into any Tim Hortons here in St. Thomas today, I think as per the advice of the mayor. So that was a really interesting development here. I don't know how many other businesses have chosen to do the same, but definitely my personal experience here was that Tim Hortons has taken quite the stance against these types of assemblies. There were a few crowds that gathered along the path, the march, I should say, that these individuals engaged upon from this location to the cenotaph. A lot of vulgar expressions and sentiments being relayed by this crowd. And overall, in general, the people remain consistent in their messaging. They stand for freedom. They stand for expression. They stand for individual choice and freedom of individual choice. And they stand behind small businesses who don't want to go into financial ruin and who decide to say enough is enough and we will stay open. For Rebel News in St. Thomas, Ontario, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you're a small business and you face bankruptcy or closure due to the lockdowns that are unsupported by data or evidence-based decision-making, we would like to hear from you. Head on over to iwillopen.com and get in touch with us today. Share your story. Let us know what you're up against. We want to hear from the businesses who are fed up and have had enough. That's iwillopen.com.